Boom! Hey, internet friends, this is Magic Brad with the Magic Brad Show at a different location because we're in the process of moving, which means I'm going to have to move my home studio. So I'm just sitting here at the dining room table in our apartment. And I don't have any special sound effects or anything like that, but the show must go on. So that's the way it works. And I'll share a little bit more about what's going on in that world. But let me grab my friend Bo. He's in I don't want to call it virtual because it's really a green room. It's a digital green room with hors d'oeuvres and stuff in there, but they're all digital. So where is he? There he is. Greetings.
Top of the morning to you, Mr. Magic Brad.
Greetings. Yes. I shared a little bit that we're moving and I'm moving the studio.
It's a big deal.
It's actually going to be a real kind of studio now because I'll be able to have some room. Living in an apartment and having a little mini studio isn't really a studio. But I like that. I like the ability to stream from anywhere,
Yeah,
cool.
I'm excited to see how this turns out, this studio of yours. I know why I'm envisioning, some cool mood lighting and all kinds of stuff.
There's some of that. I'm going to put a secret bookcase door on it so when you walk downstairs, you won't know that there's a room there.
I love it.
So now you only know that it's behind the bookcase.
All right. I like it. I can't wait to see
all that kind of stuff. And it's going to have my magic trunk and all that kind of stuff and have that little vibe in there. And other than that, I want to just keep it all open so I can invite friends over and we just sit and brainstorm and chat.
Love it. I love it. Build on each other's energy, man.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah. So
what is happening? What's in the bowl? What's going on in the bowl world? Well, that's the big thing for me. I mean, that's the main thing. Other than I did connect with a guy that lives in Eden Prairie that does some Facebook ads and stuff.
Yeah.
And shared with him the Synergy Collaborative concept and what I'm building out. And he was excited about it and is interested in working with me on it. So that's an other thing. But the biggest thing is the move.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's new for me. I'm trying to think what has happened in the last week. Lots. We have Memorial Weekend. So we had the opportunity to get away for a couple of days. So that was time with the family and a friend, and that was good. And we've got summers hitting us crazy. I now officially have a senior and a junior in high school, along with a sixth grader. We're getting one step closer to college, so that's just amazing.
Do they get along as a senior and junior?
They do, yeah.
Got each other's back.
I'm pretty charmed in that regard. My girls do get along really well. They have their tension moments, but overall, we've been just a tight little family unit because we don't have any family around, so we have each other, and that's just been that way for a long time. So I have extended family, just nobody close. And so it's just kind of been us. So they've always just had each other as best friends, kind of. And so, that's good.
That's cool for school. My brother was 7 years apart from me, so I never even saw him. I knew people that were between his grade and my grade that were kind of, associated friends, but never really had any siblings that I could have used some help back in school. I'm only 5'6", and I wasn't a real big guy.
It's nice to have. Yeah, you know what? So I'm not the tallest dude in the world either, and I have always kind of lined up. I've always had a friend or two in my vicinity that's just a big human, So I've always had big people around me. Friends that were just.
Well, I was in wrestling, and I'm kind of physical, but I'm not a fighter kind of person, and I remember kids used to do these, you're walking down the hall opposite directions and they would do this thing with their elbow and hit you.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And what I used to do is stick my arm up like this so they'd hit my end of my elbow. I just do that and boom, yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
Were you much in school? Were you a school guy?
I did well in school. So through grade school, high school, I maintained very strong GPA, and school came, fortunately for me, somewhat easy, but I was also pretty diligent with studies. And then I went to a year of college, and that's all she wrote. And college had its challenges. My GPA wasn't quite as strong, but it was decent. So I did pretty good. My girls are doing well, thankfully. They work hard at it, and I appreciate their commitment to their studies because
Monica's one of those A student kind of people. I was like a C and D, and then I
okay,
got A's in like wood shop, metal shop, graphic arts,
stuff
printing,
that
and
was
all.
interesting to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. I did real good in that. But the
yeah,
other stuff was all C's and D's, and I really didn't care. I was like, I'm from my family wasn't very wealthy, so I had no thought of even college
sure,
ever happening. So my thing was just to get out of there. And I just
yeah,
knew that if I didn't get F's, I'd be okay.
yeah,
And even if I made an effort,
yeah.
I'd be okay.
Yeah.
So I just went through it. I wasn't really, and I lived really close to school. So it was
Okay.
no busing. So I didn't get to know anybody on the bus.
Yeah.
It was like, get into school, go through the deal, go home.
Yeah.
Anyways, so let's talk a
Yeah.
bit about our gratitude topic.
Hey man, so I'm kind of excited. I have the opportunity in a couple months to speak, and I'll be sharing about the a competitive advantage to gratitude and kindness and things like that and gifting. And so I'm excited about that. And I was going to share something today. So we're getting closer to Father's Day,
Mhm.
right? And I have one of these cool RFID wallets, right? And this one happens to have my name on it, laser engraved,
Right, cool.
right? So this is mine. This is one of a kind, right? So that's that cool thing. This thing's really neat. I'm just going to show you that. There's a button. How am I doing that? This button right there. And it's
Okay.
just a lever. And just watch how this goes. Ready?
Ta-da.
See that? You just pull the lever and the cards slide up so you can get access to them, and then they all just pop down in. Just a button.
That's pretty slick.
So it's a little magical, right, for you, Brad? But this is literally the nicest wallet I've had. It's got a top pocket for business cards, you got a pocket for cash, whatever. They're about $25. Laser engraved that person's name on it. That's such a perfect gift for a Father's Day kind of thing, if you ask me. I
for
just thought I'd
anybody,
pitch that because if somebody went to Magic went to put your link up there,
yes.
and you can start a trial membership and have discounted pricing even with the trial membership, right?
Yeah,
So
for those that don't know what this is that we talk about a lot, is this mailbox power thing. And for those that don't know, it's a gifting platform for sending greeting cards, postcards, gifts, and edibles and things like that. And that wallet is a new thing. They do this laser etching on products, and you can personalize them. Not with your company logo, but you could, I guess.
Yeah.
But it's really more about the person than it is the company.
No, keep your stuff out of it. When you send a gift to somebody, it's not about you. It's about them. You don't need your logo all over it. If it's your logo and your message is all over it, that's now marketing. It's not a gift of appreciation. Mm-hmm. So just stop.
Well, you sent me this gift with the logo from my Synergy Cafe show.
Yeah.
So
that means more to you than my logo.
Not yours.
Right.
I mean, yeah, I go to the Goodwill stores once in a while, poking around, looking for treasures and things, and you oftentimes see those logoed coffee mugs that people just got rid of.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get rid of one that has their picture of their dog or their kid or their cabin or something like that.
And I know of like some, financial advisors and others that send out really nice, tumblers and mugs and stuff like that. But it literally is their information all over. It's their logo, their name. Mm-hmm. It's a super nice gesture. But is that going to be the go-to mug or the go-to cup? It's not. It may go in the cupboard. It might go in the pantry. It might go somewhere and be in the home because they feel bad about throwing it away or because it is good quality. But is it going to be that?
If you are going to do the logo thing,
it's got my picture on it.
If you're going to do the logo thing, it needs to be subtle. It needs to be very subtle. Because if you could imagine sending someone a birthday gift and it's got your company logo on it, unless it's from your company.
I just received one. I just received one from someone who really understands what we're talking about, is a user of the system. So they understand it. Mm-hmm. But that's where they're missing the mark. Their birthday message was literally all about them. And to the point, even the brownie labels. And I don't have the heart to say, because I do appreciate it. I crushed the brownies. They were delicious.
I'm using this now.
Fix it.
with the postcards, I'm using this, because you can send the postcards at just the cost of postage.
Yeah.
So it saves you the printing and all that kind of stuff and the labeling and stamping. And I just created a project like that for the event expo. And now when I find somebody that I want to send something to and let them know about that, it's really, really easy. Granted, it's 100% business promotion thing, but it's just amazingly simple for me, because the way I used to have to do it was design the postcard, decide, do I want 3,000? Do I want 5,000? You got to make that decision. And then I got to get them shipped to me. Then I got to store them somewhere. And then I got to print out a label. And this is a one-off kind of thing. I can do it. And it can't be designed with the print merge feature to personalize it too. So
right. Yeah. So I just received a congratulations and a / thank you card from our corporate office, right? And it had the 4 executives' names on it. It's not signed. It's not personalized. It's the exact same card that went to everyone. And for me to think that they could have accomplished the same thing, but an even more personalized experience for the same money or less using a system like this, there's just real value to that. And there's a place for all different kinds. But yeah, to your point, I walked in the office today. One of the first things I was told, we're out of stamps. We're out of stamps, right? And yet here I am, like I use this system to send a lot of things, and I don't ever have to worry about going and buy stamps for this. It's just part of the program.
I'm just checking because I actually forgot what topic I posted this on, so I don't know if there's a topic, if anybody's watching.
Oh yeah, we should probably stay on point there, Brad. Come on.
Well, yes and no.
I like some of the tangents we go on,
Well, a lot of this whole marketing thing, and I was talking with some people at AGC last night about that it's really about the relationship, and it's a lot less about the businessy stuff. Mm-hmm. And, if someone hears what we're talking about and ends up liking what we're talking about, and we have that know, like, trust, and respect factor, mm-hmm. It's kind of game over. We're going to do something sometime. So the topic, you write these creative, catchy topics about, watch this, you won't believe what happens.
Sure.
Yeah, people are all savvy to that stuff now. It worked, and sometimes you watch it, but no, I'm trying to be open, authentic, and
yeah. And you know what? You said you went to AGC last night. There's dozens and dozens of people. We're back to in-person networking and events. Just a plug for that group, which I really wish I was able to make it last night, and really one of the events this week. But next week, my goal is to make it to an upcoming event. The idea that you can go check this out this month for nothing, to go see if that group's a good fit for you, if you feel like it's a professional environment, that you can make some connections there that could be authentic. This is a tremendous opportunity for people to go explore that. And anybody that watches this, if you're in the metro Minneapolis Twin Cities area.
Well, he's in 6 different states now, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's right. Heck, beyond our area, anywhere where we have our live events, it's just the opportunity is really, really ripe right now.
I just really like the format that he's doing with. It's really low stress. Mm-hmm. The complimentary drinks and hors d'oeuvres and stuff. It's if you're, you just got off work and you want to go to the AGC event and have something to eat, it's there for you. Yeah. And it's just very low key. And that's what I really like about it. And you get to see these other venues that these places are at.
Right. You get to go see some cool places. There's no industry exclusivity. So you don't have to worry about, I'm the realtor and there's somebody else there in the group I can't join. There's none of that. It's not a survival of the fittest concept. It's a show up, put your best foot forward, right? And somebody might hit it off with you and say, I want to work with you.
I'll share an interesting story that's one of those coincidental serendipities of how these casual events just naturally happen rather than forcing the networking.
Sure.
I was the connector there last night. So I was the MC and I was walking around talking to people. I was talking with this gentleman up by the bar, and then he finally says, "So what do you do?" I says, "What I do is I'm more of an event strategist." And he goes, "Oh, like an event planner?" I go, "No, I don't plan events. It's more the strategy of how you can leverage the event. Like this event, for example, if you were wanting to be in this event, everybody's out changing cards, talking, networking, but you could take it a step further and you could sponsor the event. And now you get that maximum exposure that makes you one of the primary type people to think about."
Yeah.
And then he tells me what he did. And I remember going through the slides He's the sponsor. So
Oh,
yeah, he was one of the sponsors last night. So it's funny that I was sharing with him my idea, and that's what he was doing. Perfect.
oh,
It
that's
wasn't my
perfect.
idea.
So he understood the value. You understand the value. That's great. That's awesome. You're
Yeah,
the
he's got
perfect
a
guy.
directory. I forgot the name of his company, which is not a good thing, but he's got a directory that he's allowing people to come in for free. And it's got a different slant to it than your typical online directory.
Interesting. Okay.
So that's
Yeah,
cool.
you two probably hit it off. You're the perfect connector for that Minneapolis AGC group.
I just love the strategies of live events and taking things to the next level. Just rather than just going to these things and handing out your card saying, if you ever you're ever selling a house, here's my card. If you ever want financial planning, here's my card. If you ever want a massage, here's my card.
Yeah.
That's not really networking to me. It's really about the third tier of how you can help somebody else.
Yeah. And I mean, it's still worth mentioning though that if you go to those events and you present yourself in the right way and you're not all salesy and this and that, even though everybody knows what everybody's there for, right? To some degree, it's to be able to attract people to you instead of prospect, right? You show up and if you seem like someone that has a decent vibe, or you just feel like somebody's going to want to talk to you more and take that conversation offline or to the next level, and we talked about this last week. I think it's not what you know, it's not who you know, it's who knows you. Mm-hmm. And so if somebody's talking to somebody today after that event saying, hey man, my investments are tanking, or something's going on, man, I just got my renewal bill for my insurance, or I have this, I have that. Your hope is that you created a relationship strong enough that somebody say, I have a person for you, right?
Totally.
That's the goal. And so,
yeah, it's a little business community family. Like Travis switched from one phone carrier to another because the other guy was a member, and he said he chopped the bill in half and you got two phones for the price of one, kind of thing. And he's all super happy because of the relationship he built. Yep. Hey, we got our friend Mike here, by the way.
There he is. There he is. Hey, Mike. There he is. Howdy, guys. I love howdy, by the way. I'm a big fan.
Howdy doody?
I use howdy all the time. My kids like, could you please stop saying that word, like howdy? I'm not a cowboy. I don't live in the
We've
South.
got a common magician, Mac King. That's how he starts his show. Howdy, oh, yeah? I'm Mac King.
Howdy. So what's your? You've got to do a little moving here in the next few days, right?
Mm-hmm.
And anything else like major disruption or change in life?
Well, the major thing is the feeling of having an established place rather than being on the couch kind of thing. Because I'll be able to sit down and actually, I guess, put the pedal to the metal kind of thing, focus a little bit. Mm-hmm. I'm at the place where I don't like to, bust hard and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I'll be able to focus, which is very important. It's kind of like the magnifying glass in the sun. You can burn something. It's not a lot of work to hold it, but you got to hold it. And then it starts to fire. So that's the whole thing about focus. If I can just focus rather than bouncing around on different things and changing my mind. So that's the biggest thing to me, be able to have my own little space.
Yeah.
And a headquarters and a new environment to connect. I mean, where I'm going over there, there's Banquets of Minnesota, which is an event center. It's probably a mile away. And then there's the Mermaid Supper Club. That's an event center there they've got that they rent out. So there's some things happening there. Crooners, they do some things there.
Okay.
So there's some event-related stuff over in that area as opposed to this area. So
I like it.
That's the biggest
very,
thing.
Very good.
It does. It feels really good. And the synergy collaborative concept that I'm building out, I think that's more going to be my focus. I remember I was chatting with Travis and I said, I'm impressed with how you can do all these different things. He goes, well, I've only got one brand to promote. And it kind of hit a chord with me. Like, you know what? I got too many irons in the fire. Even though they're all being used for the same thing, there's just too many of them. It's, like I mentioned before, the best way to juggle 3 balls is to drop 2.
That's wisdom right there. Yeah. And you just hope they're rubber and they bounce, or what's the story here?
Well, I think they'll just drop and be there. And I can attach them to the one. I could just tie the one ball onto the other 2 balls and just juggle the one and it'll be okay.
Can you juggle pretty well, by the way?
I started to kind of be able to do it, but it's something that takes it takes constant practice.
Yeah.
Otherwise you lose it.
Yeah. Does it kind of go hand in hand? Because I know when I was a kid and I was doing a little magic, I certainly tried to learn that skill of juggling. Well, I don't know why. But.
I'm glad you brought up that topic because I like talking about it.
Yeah.
Magic is different than all these other things in that it isn't hard to do a magic trick. There's magic tricks that are self-working, but there's not juggling that is self-working. There's not ventriloquism that is self-working.
Right.
You know, there's not hand balancing or unicycle that is self-working.
Yeah.
You actually have to have talent. Magic, you don't really need to have a lot of talent unless it's sleight of hand kind of stuff.
Sure.
You have to have knowledge of misdirection and things.
Right, right.
So magic is totally different than all those other variety arts. So they do kind of, I mean, you can go to conventions and you'll find clowns and you'll find balloon twisters and ventriloquists and mimes, and they kind of hang with each other. They might have some cross, you know, a juggler might be a magician also.
Okay.
But they're totally different, in my opinion. The magic world is way different. You do need people skills and understand some psychology, and when you're moving the boxes around and stuff, you need to make sure you hide the certain stuff so that people don't see it and that kind of stuff. But no, juggling, you actually have to practice it and stay on it, and the rhythm's got to be there, and the weight of the objects and stuff is relevant and all that. And it's different, way different.
Fair enough. I mean, you know, putting those two together, juggling / magic, both are performance, both are designed to entertain. Mm-hmm. So there's that, but yet very, very different in what it.
Well, there's a guy, I can't remember his name, I think it's Greg Freeman. He's a juggler, and he juggles with 3 balls, and then he's throwing them behind his back. And the third time he throws it behind his back, it comes over his shoulder, and it's a dove. It turns into a dove.
That's ridiculous.
So there are some very cool things that a juggler magician can do. You know,
I'm going to have to go. That's over the top. That fascinates me, how people can do things like that. You know,
it is fascinating, except for once you start understanding what's happening with all with the magic element stuff. It's still fascinating to me. I'll share a quick story about that. And we're 22 minutes in. I don't know where the time goes. That's amazing. But there was a guy that I was watching. I forgot what the scientific term is, but it's something about ground something infraction. That if there's 2 objects moving, if your eye is focused on this one, you can't see the other one.
Oh,
and he does this thing with these coins where it's sort of a juggling move where he's producing the coins out of the air.
Oh, okay.
And it's tossing the coins so that he can make them be at his fingertips, but you can't see them going from place to place. And then he produces this nut that's probably about 4 inches in diameter and about 1 inch thick, big solid nut. And I was watching him. I didn't see it. And I said, okay, I'm not going to focus because I know what's going on. I'm not going to focus on the coin. I'm going to focus on the nut. And sure enough, I just saw the big giant nut fly through the air.
That's amazing.
It's kind of like, you ever see that gorilla thing with the basketball?
Yep.
Like
Matter of fact, I had bought not the rights, but I had bought some video that had that in there. And it was a basketball, right?
Yep.
And I shared that in the meeting about how, you know, what you're focusing on. It's amazing what your mind can do.
That's kind of what I'm talking about. People say, well, how do you hide that? You don't have to hide it.
You don't. That's what's so maddening about that video. It's in plain sight. But because you tricked your mind into focusing on the wrong thing.
For those that don't know, we'll spoil it for you, but it's people in black shirts and white shirts that are passing a basketball, and they ask you how many times did they pass the basketball.
Yeah.
So you're focused on that, and a guy in a gorilla costume walks across the stage, but you don't see it.
Yeah.
It's fascinating.
It is. I remember doing it in the meeting, and you showed the video that done said, anybody see the gorilla? And they're like, what are you talking about? Like, there literally was a gorilla right on screen. Show it again. I'm like, okay, just hit start again. And they're like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. So that's the magic kind of thing. It's tricking the eye, the illusion, and there's things that you can do. There's the verbal psychology and stuff that gets people not to see how things are working, but it's not the same as physical talent, except for the manipulations when you see guys producing those cards and stuff, or certain sleight of hand moves and stuff.
Right.
But the boxes and screens and tubes and all that kind of stuff, it's self-working, and you just.
It is amazing what the mind can be tricked into doing. No, sorry, real quick before we go, I got to ask of all the magic things that you've done along the way. What do you prefer to perform? Would it be more of like a street magic or table magic, or would it be kind of the big things?
Mm-hmm. I love that question too, because what I really enjoy doing is a family gathering in the living room in front of the fireplace, and there's 15, 20 people.
Okay.
The reason I like that is because they're family, they know each other.
Yeah.
Whereas at a corporate event, you have to be on your best behavior in case the boss is watching. So it's a different environment. They let their hair down a little bit, and it's close up. And I do these things with I got a 6-inch bridge nut that I produce from under a hat, and people wonder, where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
So I really like doing those home parties. Not big money and that kind of stuff, but that's what I really enjoy.
Okay.
And I'm not much for the big boxes and doing all this stuff, because the assistant is doing all the work. You're just spinning the box around to the music.
I'll never forget, and my dad, I think I shared this once upon a time in one of our conversations months ago, but as a kid, since I was pretty fascinated with magic, and I spent, my hard-earned money on going to buy things from the secret magic and joke shop, and it was really cool to me, right? But I remember we were able to go, my dad and I, to David Copperfield, and I was just absolutely blown away. The guy is on stage, he goes into a box or whatever he did, and he's poof, he's gone. And it's like 5 seconds later, and the guy is 10 feet away from me in the stands, sitting there. And you're just like, that is not possible. I don't care what sleight of hand or what, I'll never know how he did, right? You probably know. No clue how in that short of a time frame that reappearing or whatever happens. And I don't know how people can see that and not be intrigued and not just be kind of like, wow, that's entertainment to me.
It definitely is. And that similar effect, I was just sharing with Monica, that when I was a kid, me and Dave and our assistant used to do that. We didn't do it with a big box. We did it with a mail bag.
Okay.
I got tied up in a mail bag with handcuffs on me, and then I was put behind a screen, and then I was moving around and stuff, and then I couldn't get out, so they moved the screen, and they opened up the bag, and it was our male assistant, Craig, in the bag, and then I came running from behind the church going, here I am.
That right there.
Yep.
Someday I'd like to figure out how to do that or be a part of that trick, but I love that. I love that stuff. And I don't know how you just don't get blown away. But I also like the street magic concept that just, cards or coins or just right in front of your face. Mm-hmm. You're just sitting there just going, how? I mean, there's manipulation, obviously, but I don't know. I could talk about that stuff all day long. It's so good. It's so awesome.
Well, I can talk a lot about it too. I mean, it gets to be, the same thing over and over, but a lot of the stuff is much simpler than people actually, people think, oh, that's great for kids. Kids are the hardest to fool because their minds have not been programmed yet.
Right.
Adults have been programmed that when you take a coin and you put it in your hand, it goes in your hand. Not true. But our minds have been programmed to see certain things, and that's what we see. And it's not necessarily what's really happening.
Sure.
So kids, they're like on it.
Before we cut out, I'll give you a plug here for anybody who's maybe watching this. Go to that website that you see on the banner there, mailboxpower.com / MagicBrad.
Right there.
You can check the system out. It's a system we use to either connect with thousands at one time or one-offs. And the fact that you can test the system out with the discounted pricing for 14 days, and you can go in there, you can have a next day shift, one-off laser engraved item, and send it to somebody, and completely blow their day, and just completely make their day. It's just, there's options out there in the laser engraved, or there's chocolates. There's all kinds of things you can do. But I'd encourage them just to go take a test drive of this thing. Because
now's the time. It's Father's Day coming. You could give a shot and send that to Father's Day, or there's other holidays coming up.
They've got a laser engraved dice cup, a wine box and tools, wine tumblers, a poker and dice set. And then there's really amazing the cheese board, the barbecue tool set. There's just a lot of cool things. That's just the laser items, but there's other things too. And it's just take a test drive. There's no obligation. But I think you'd be blown away at the simplicity of it and the actual quality of it.
Yep.
They're not interested in sending something out that looks bad. And so, anyways.
And people need to dig deeper than their first initial impression. And we've used the car analogy. When you buy a car, you don't know all the intricate details that are happening in that car. You're just interested in getting from point A to point B. There's a lot of little bells and whistles and features that are in this Mailbox Power platform. Just like the mailing lists that are available.
Yeah.
That stuff is hooked up through, what is it, Experian or something like that?
I think so. And the funny thing about that is, and we probably talked about it before, that's not even on the home page. You wouldn't even know it exists, but yet it is one of the biggest features of the entire system. Is somebody that needs a list of leads that they can purchase that's integrated in the system, so they can also add the card and get it sent. Recently, I was on a call yesterday, and if you're in the network marketing space, let's say for example you're a Mary Kay representative, right? Amazing company has withstood the test of time. They just do really great things with great products. There's content. There's things in here for you to help run your business if that's what you're in. And some of it's done for you. But that exists for a lot of different industries, a lot of real estate space, insurance space.
Are you talking about the pre-done campaigns?
There's pre-done things in there. It's amazing. Yeah. When you're working with in a level up scenario, right? So if you have a person you brought into a company like a network marketing company, and they make a rank advancement, things like that. For those that are familiar with those terms, they know exactly what we're talking about, right? Well, there's things already created in here to help you recognize that achievement from that person that's in your network, and it's awesome when you do that and you take the time to appreciate that. So
that client retention thing.
Yeah, and we Joe Kennemore talks about the beginning of the year. A lot of people have a weight loss or a fitness goal, and then they start and they do pretty well, or they join a nutritional supplement company and they start and they do really good and they lose 20 pounds and things are good, and then summer hits and then they kind of go off of the plan and they stop their auto ship and things change, and then in like 6 months, 5 months, they want to get back to it. And there's like this shame, right? Or there's, I don't want to go back. And then there's like a call reluctance, or there's, I don't know what I'm going to do. The system allows you to just stay in touch. Just thinking of you, and you can take that whole kind of odd feeling out of it. So I don't know, but it's worth the conversation. It's worth looking at. There's just really a unique item for about anybody you can think of.
It's a lot easier to retain an existing customer than it is to acquire a new one, because you don't have to jump through all that relationship building process,
It is, and this thing also, there's some people, myself included, I am not good about asking for referrals. I'm not great at it. This system makes it so I don't necessarily have to.
Well, I've noticed when people send stuff and you see things that are in here and someone gets something, whether they're using the system themselves or not, they end up sharing it. I sent a package of brownies to my friend Jody, and she's not in this system. She's not using it. She's doing her own thing. And she did a Facebook post and said, "Hey, Brad, thanks for the personalized brownies." 2 of them.
And that becomes the referral. And you didn't even ask for it, right?
Right.
There's not an intention there, but it's amazing how frequently that happens. And so, once again, you want, it's not about what you know or who you know, it's who knows you. And when all of a sudden somebody says, "Wow, my event planner sent me this," wow, that's amazing. I wonder how they did it, or I want to work with somebody that recognizes me like that. And so, yeah.
Well, on the event note, definitely when you got your team of people that you're working with to do an event, you got last night, Travis had the videographer, and he had me there as the MC, and he had the person at the front registration, and then he had the host that provided the space. Yeah. He could have easily created a set of mugs that said something like, "Here's cheers to you for helping out at the AGC event. Really appreciate it." And it could all be personalized with their name, just like you did with this one, with my little MagicBrad name on there.
Yeah. Well, and in that case,
an event planner can use it.
I mean, if you look at, say, a sponsor of an AGC event. I mean, I started off with about how to keep your logo off of it, keep your marketing message off of it. But yet, I know that if I had a mug that said, AGC on it, a proud sponsor with my name on it, I'd proudly use that, right? That's a little different than, just putting your marketing logo on, right? Because it's now about me.
Right.
You know, so there's a blend there. There's a balance between a little promotion for your industry, your company, but also it's about the end user. So I you know, it's all good. I love it. I love it. We went long today, 35.
Ooh.
Ooh.
We'll do a marathon.
You got things to do. I've got
I
things
do.
to
We're gonna put some more stuff in some boxes.
I
I'm gonna
like
put
it.
you in the
Okay.
green room, and I'll have a chat with you and close this off.
Sounds good,
Good?
buddy.
Perfect.
Great to see you again.
Thank you. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and berries, that's it. That's all we got for today. This is being live streamed on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, and it'll be stored on YouTube if you want to watch it again. And I will be propagating it out to the world. So let them all know. Peace, love, and happiness. This is Magic Brad signing off. Enjoy your day. Be well. Be good. Be nice.